Do you, like me, often toss leftover corn into a plastic bag and shove it straight into the fridge? It's a quick and convenient method, but leaving corn that way for an extended period might not be the best way to preserve it. Let me take the bag out and check. From the outside, the ears look fine, but we need to pick them up and examine them closely to see their actual condition. After harvest, corn can gradually lose moisture and freshness, and its quality can deteriorate during storage. So today, instead of just bagging and refrigerating the corn, I'll share a few different storage methods, depending on whether you plan to use it soon or keep it for a longer time. But first, I need to prep the corn. I'll place the ears on a cutting board, trim off the tips and stem ends, and remove any parts that don't look good. Once trimmed, I'll give the corn a thorough wash. That covers the initial preparation before I move on to the first storage method. If your family often buys corn in bulk, join me in exploring how to keep it in better condition while ensuring it remains convenient to use whenever you need it. Now, I'll take a moment to clean them first. I've prepared a basin of clean water and added about a tablespoon of baking soda, stirring gently with my hand to ensure it dissolves evenly. Once the water is ready, I place the ears of corn into the basin one by one. I gently press them down to ensure they are fully submerged and that all surfaces come into contact with the cleaning solution. I'll let the corn soak for about 5 to 7 minutes. When the time is up, I remove each ear of corn and transfer it to a separate basin of clean water. This time, I wash each ear thoroughly, gently using my hands to remove any remaining dirt and baking soda residue. Once washed, I place the corn on a soft towel to let the excess surface water drain off. I don't rush to store them just yet though, as there may still be a fair amount of water on the surface and between the kernels. I take some clean paper towels and carefully pat each ear dry, paying special attention to areas where water might be pooling. I use a gentle patting motion rather than rubbing hard to avoid damaging the kernels. This is a small but important step, especially for storage methods that require keeping the corn in sealed containers or bags. If there is too much moisture left on the surface before sealing, the excess humidity can cause the corn to deteriorate more quickly. For the first method, I'll use a common kitchen item, plastic wrap. I lay out a sheet of plastic wrap and place the cleaned, dried corn cob on top. Then, I wrap the plastic tightly around the entire cob. As I wrap, I smooth the plastic down so it clings closely to the surface, minimizing any large air gaps. I also neatly fold the plastic over the ends of the cob. Finally, I place it in a container and store it in the refrigerator. Corn loses moisture easily during storage. Wrapping it tightly limits air exchange and reduces moisture loss, helping the corn retain its succulence and quality for a short period. One thing to note is that plastic wrap won't keep the corn fresh indefinitely, as its quality and sweetness naturally decline after harvest. Therefore, even with this storage method, it is best to use the corn as soon as possible. Adding just this layer of plastic wrap offers better protection than leaving the corn exposed or simply tossing it into an open bag. For the second method, I prepare the corn differently to ensure a longer shelf life and greater convenience when it's time to cook. Instead of keeping the cobs whole, I remove the kernels from the cob. I work from one end of the cob, gently separating the rows until all the kernels are removed. The separated kernels remain plump and retain their vibrant color. After removing the kernels from the corn, I'll put them into a Ziploc bag. Before sealing the bag, there is one small detail I always attend to: pressing out the excess air. I try to remove as much air as possible before securely zipping the bag shut. Reducing the air inside the bag helps prevent the surface of the corn from drying out or developing freezer burn during freezing. Once sealed, I place the corn in the freezer for storage. I like this method because the bags are flat and don't take up much freezer space, and, most importantly, they are very convenient to use. These pre-separated kernels are perfect for stir-frying with ground meat, adding to fried rice, soups, or vegetable dishes, and incorporating into various other recipes. When cooking, I simply take out the amount needed for a single meal and keep the rest in the freezer. If your family uses corn frequently in cooking, I find this to be a very convenient preparation method. Spending a little extra time removing the kernels up front makes subsequent cooking sessions much faster and easier. For the third method, I cook the corn before storing it. This approach is very convenient if you want to prep ingredients in advance to make future cooking quicker and easier. First, I place the cleaned corn cobs into a pot and boil them until cooked. I try not to overcook them, as the kernels shouldn't become too soft. They will undergo further cooking later on. Once cooked, I remove the cobs and immediately place them into a bowl of cold water I've prepared beforehand. The cold water helps the corn cool down quickly and stops the residual heat from continuing the cooking process. Afterward, I pat them dry with paper towels. The drier the corn is, the less excess ice will form on the surface during freezing. Next, I place each cob on a cutting board and cut it into bite-sized rounds. I aim for relatively uniform thickness. This makes the pieces look appealing and makes them convenient to use later. Once all the corn is cut, I portion the pieces into Ziploc bags. If your family usually cooks a specific amount per meal, you can divide the corn into smaller bags at this stage. That way, you can simply grab one bag when needed without having to thaw the entire batch. I arrange the corn rounds in a relatively flat layer, gently press out excess air, and seal the bag tightly. These bags of corn are then placed in the freezer for storage. What I like about this method is that the corn is already cooked and cut into rounds, making it very convenient when it's time to cook. I can take out just the right amount to cook with carrots, potatoes, cauliflower, or other vegetables, depending on the dish I'm preparing. By simply spending a little extra time preparing up front, I have neatly portioned corn ready in the freezer for future use. It makes retrieving and portioning easy and saves a significant amount of time when cooking. So, with just a few simple methods, I've been able to preserve corn in various ways, depending on whether I want to use it right away or have it ready for future meals. I hope these quick tips help you preserve your corn better while also saving time in the kitchen. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with friends, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.